This is Luke Payson with MMA Fancast, and I'm here with undefeated pro MMA fighter, Ferdaws Nayimi. And you're 1-0 now, so let's talk about your pro win last week. Talk to us about it.
It was finally good, just to be a journeyman, but finally be defined on paper, like as official pro. Because I've been a pro my whole life in my eyes. So like when I used to talk to people about my talent and skill level, they never seen it. But finally, to be able to say that I'm pro on paper, to start this journey with all the 2 years development, being here in Pittsburgh, and seeing the plan come together, and I'm just grateful to be part of the pro ranking and finally get my name out there, and just happy I finally did that development, listen to Isaac for the last 2 years, put in my time with like 5 amateur fights, and that gave me the confidence and the experience which I needed in the cage. So now I feel confident, and I can't wait to showcase my skills, but also just to show my talent and to the bigger leagues, to just to let them know, like, hey, like, I got the talents, I got the whole package.
You definitely are the whole package. We've had you on, we've talked quite a bit, and you're an exciting story, particularly, you had the Muay Thai background, and you get into Canada, you come down to the Mat Factory for just a little bit and end up staying for several years to really develop your talents. We've talked a lot about that. Talk about what it's like. You went to a decision, so that's a 15-minute fight. What was it like to be able to know that you could fight that long, but then actually go out and do that as far as your conditioning?
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed. I needed to go there because my last 2 fights, it kind of ended with the knockouts. So I don't look for knockouts, but if it's there, I'll take it. I could have finished this kid, but the biggest thing I wanted to go there is to 3 rounds, test out my gas thing, really feel like what it's like to go back in there and fight 5-minute rounds, not 3-minute rounds, and with the full rule set, and then just with the full elbows, knees to the head, kicks, which I wasn't able to showcase my talent in the amateur days. But all I needed is the experience, and I'm glad I went through the experience, because now I know what it feels like. I know what to expect, and I know it's been there, done that. Like, it's nothing, I'm not going to second guess myself. Because if I win in a first round knockout, then my other fights, I would have been like, okay, do I, I'm always ready for it, but it just, I went in there for the experience. And it was a dominant fashion. I won 30-27. That should say it all. It's not just in 29-28. So that was great. I just needed experience, and that's what I got for it. So.
Yeah, and it's good to know that about yourself, that's a bigger win for you than a first round knockout. You've gotten those. You needed that 15-minute win so that you could feel better about the next time you're in there. And so talk about what's next. You were telling me that there are some potential big fights coming up.
Through my management, I'm signed with First Round for now, and they're potentially giving me some opportunities on some UFC Fight Pass shows that I could show my skills and pay them up. So maybe I'll favor in talks with that. Nothing's confirmed yet. It's just some attempts, and I'm open to any local promotions like 247. I'd love to always fight for them. They've been here. Give me opportunities as an amateur, and I would like to grow with the organization. So it's all business now. When you're a professional,
it's a business.
I'm here creating my brand. I'm here selling my stories. I'm here fighting, representing my team, and I'm fighting for my brand, and it's all business. So I look at it as a business perspective. Who's willing to work, who's willing to negotiate, and who's willing to work alike. So life is all about using people, and you have to get the art of using people. The door has to swing both ways, to you and to that person. You have to be able to let them use you, and you use them a little bit. So it's like I'm trying to work with promotions that are gonna basically give me the opportunity, but also I'll be able to give them the opportunity to showcase my skills and be like, that kid's from 247, and bring the shine on me and on them. So I'm just open, and I'm taking it a fight at a time. I'm been really doing this for the next 10+ years, which is the plan. So every fight is taken care of, like, with precaution, and it's just a business treatment,
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, particularly like the most important fight you'll have is always your next one, the one that's coming up, because then the next 10 years, whatever it ends up being, that's how you get to wherever you are. It's one fight at a time, one matchup, one promotion. 247, I know from calling a lot of all your 247 fights that it is fun to see people develop. You were a super seasoned, experienced kickboxer coming in to amateur, and obviously the Mat Factory was that perfect blend to get your grappling. So I guess we jumped ahead, we talked about the future, which is great, but How do you feel you are now as far as taking on wrestlers? Because at the pro level, there's guys that are D1 national champs. You know, like we've seen it sometimes. Once you get in, you know, at that level, there'll be some real good grapplers. How confident, and of course, we know how much you appreciate and love Coach Isaac Greeley and Chris Dempsey. So where do you think you're at as far as being able to handle people's wrestling attacks? Because you are, at least for now, known as a striker. I think eventually you'll be known.
Yeah, I'm always going to be labeled as a striker. I love that because I just always like seeing people's reaction and be like, okay, that's the takedown game plan. But I think I just didn't know. When I first started seeing Matt Factory, I knew that's exactly what I needed. I see the atmosphere. Dude, I've been fighting since 2007 as in Muay Thai. I've been around who's who. You know, if I name some guys right now, like, it would be crazy. But I've been around, so I know what the next level is like. So, and just sitting down with Isaac, setting realistic goals, and then within 2 years, crushing those goals, and traveling, going to Thailand, training with a little bit, moving around with Patty the Batty, and a bunch of other high-level guys, and not labeling myself as a wrestler. But when it came down to push and shove, I seen how much talent I had with those guys, how much better I was on the ground, and it made me appreciate. I always kind of like respected where I come from, but I always like, oh, you gotta go there to get the work. But then when I went to Thailand and then I put my groundwork into fruition, I realized I'm like, fuck, I don't know how good I have it at the factory. That's like the real Dagestan. Like some of these guys, I was going against some Bellator, UFC, PFL guys, and I was taking them down, standing back up, and it made me appreciate how much good I have it at PA, and it made me back and just tell Isaac, like, dude, like, made me appreciate and trust the process even more. And if you do this statistically wise, Dom Mazzotto, Dalton Roaster, Cody Law, Chris Dempsey, you know, and we got like Jake Lowry, dude, like, the gym statistically could show you, like, when it comes to ground, like, we know our freaking shit, you know.
Yeah, and well, Chris Dempsey's going to Poland, I think
that's
next
another
week.
thing. Yeah, and that's another thing I love about our gym is our leaders will never tell you to do something that they'll never do themselves. And we're constantly competing and putting ourselves against fire, and we're evolving. Everyone at the factory, what I love is the white belt mentality. We always welcome people and train. And dude, my ground game, like, thank God, I used to question God's plan. I used to question the process until now I'm finally seeing the fruition, and I'm looking back to 2 years. Yes, it might have been hard, things didn't make sense, but now you show me a jiu-jitsu move, I'm like, bing, bing, bong, bong. Things are clicking in, and I'm finally like, I earned my blue belt. I'm not too close away from my purple belt. I'm not letting belts kind of rank me, but it's a good measuring sticks to go back and relate the moments and appreciate, right? Your destiny. So I'm constantly, even that I'm not active with my MMA, I'm looking forward to like grappling matches, super fights. That also lets me build my brand, and then also lets me test, because the worst comes to worst, I'm not getting punched in my face. So I would tap if I have to, you know. It's a great experience. So that's one thing I learned from Mando. I got to train for him from Ultimate Fighter. I'm very grateful to have him. He came down in great manners.
I was going to say, Mando Gutierrez was in for Strong number 1.
He helped me a lot for my camp mentally, and just moving around with them, seeing the different athletes and testing my ground game with him. He was really good on the ground and standing overall. So it was great to see his view a little bit. He always, that when he's not fighting, he's constantly competing. He did the combat jiu-jitsu. He did the Midwest finishers at 135. So I'm looking at him, also taking away things from other people and learning little things like, hey, like, if you're not active with your thing, get yourself out there, participate, and just put yourself out there in the fire. And, you know, and that's what it's all about, moments and memories.
Absolutely. Well, it's always an honor to talk to you.
For sure, man. I love being on your podcast.
Can't wait. Can't wait to have you back on once you get your next fight.
I'm just grateful for your platform and what you do to the young bucks in the game, and I appreciate to be on your channel. And make sure you subscribe on the button and follow this man, because he's full of wisdom.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
For sure.